By the way, while all of the mass layoffs are happening, look into how many of them donated to the fucking ballroom. Okay, yeah, Amazon, I see you. I just saw a video pop up on my timeline of a girl that worked for Amazon for 8 years. Someone worked for y'all for 8 years. Like, didn't quit. And y'all let her go? Like, I thought y'all had a high turnover. And I want to remind everybody, yeah, like, the economy is going to shit, but it is not because of the tariffs. They're going to tell you it's because of the tariffs, but it's not because of the tariffs. These companies can absolutely afford to pay staff, because it was never about making sure the bottom were taken care of. No, this is 100% about AI. Because if you remember back to 2021 and 2022, when a lot of these companies made the largest profit margin ever, and they said they were short on staff but didn't raise wages, yeah, they actually just, like, figured out, automating's better. Once again, the whole system we work in only works if there is cheap or unpaid labor. and the thing is, we have been the cheap labor, right? So now it's going to be just unpaid. AI's taking it all, and our resources, right? Like, we're competing for water, electricity. But thank God the big, beautiful bill has so much regulation for AI in the next 10 years. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
I got laid off from Amazon 2 weeks ago today. I received an email at like 5:48 a.m. in the morning saying, unfortunately, your role has been eliminated. And it was honestly just like the biggest shock and biggest wake-up call for myself. I woke up that morning and I just treated it like another day. And when I logged into my laptop, I was completely locked out. I was like, maybe I'm just like putting in the password wrong. I have no idea what's going on. And that's when I decided to like check my cell phone. There was a text that I got that said like, before you go into work, please check your personal email for recent updates to your job. And I was like, no fucking way. After 5.5 years, I got a text and I got an email. There were people that had been there for 20 years, 13 years, 11 years that got the exact same email that I did. To figure out this way is so dehumanizing, and honestly, I'm just like so angry. I found out I got laid off at 9 a.m. and I didn't hear anything from my manager until like 12:30 p.m. because that's when he supposedly learned. Through this, I was honestly just like so disappointed in myself for knowing better than to give my full self to this job. These companies just like really see you as a number and they really don't care about you, and that's okay. At the end of the day, I learned that this is just business and that I was a fool for putting more of myself into this company than truthfully I should have. I'd given so much of like my emotional and mental self to this job for them to just like say, okay, we need to do budget cuts. Employee 123 looks like they're costing this much, let's cut them. The only way that I'm ever gonna be safe is working for myself and doing something for myself. And honestly, I learned this a few years ago. The first time leaving tech, I realized that they brainwash you in tech to making you think that this is the only way to survive and that you will be lost without them. After I left tech, and then came back, I realized that like this is just a system that I'm buying into, but it's hard to not be in that system. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm using this to just like start my own shit. I'm an entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur, and I just feel like I haven't been taking myself seriously. But these companies aren't gonna take me more seriously than myself, and they're not gonna make me rich. They're not gonna make me rich, they're not gonna make me sick. It doesn't matter how long you've been there, there's no such thing as company loyalty. They are not loyal back to you.
Over the past week, there have been multiple announcements about mass layoffs and organizational restructuring, from Amazon announcing they're laying off 14,000 corporate workers, the CEO of YouTube stating that employees can voluntarily exit and they'll be given a severance. The dominant narrative is that this is the beginning of AI automating roles, and that's not really true. AI is involved, but not for the reasons people think, and it's really important we understand what's happening, because the fate of any particular job may have nothing to do with whether AI can complete it, because the truth is AI isn't capable of automating most jobs, especially not thousands of jobs. Companies are not laying off workers because AI can do those roles. Companies are laying off workers to prevent getting disrupted by this technology themselves. They are internalizing the disruption and starting to slim down so they can behave much more like a startup, much more nimbly, and they can pivot and adapt and prevent a new entrant from throwing them off their game. For instance, Amazon is looking at AI and wondering, if we were a product of the internet era, what or who could be the next Amazon of the AI age? And it best be us. So we're getting into startup mode and internalizing this disruption ourselves. And we can see this in the statements companies are making. If you look at Amazon's most recent blog post, talk about this being the most transformative technology since the internet, which birthed Amazon, and the need to stay nimble, move faster. And the YouTube CEO talks about something similar, AI being the next frontier. This is a really important signal to identify. because it says a lot about what we can expect from a lot more companies going forward. We worked overnight to get this episode out where I go in detail about the nuances of what's happening here, but more importantly, exactly what we should be doing in this moment. What should you wake up and do tomorrow to get ahead of all of this?
The concept of a layoff is so crazy, bro, because you can literally go from a stable income to unemployed in an instant. No matter how good of an employee you were, no matter how many years you've been there, no matter what you gave to a company, you can be gone just like that. And the thing about a layoff is most of the time when it happens, it's not your fault. The company just deemed, hey, we don't need you anymore. Like, for example, with these Amazon layoffs, 14,000 people just lost their job in an instant, and more to come. That's 14,000 car payments, kids, houses, just people living their lives. I'm sure a lot of them will get back on their feet, but it just goes to show that these stable jobs are not as stable as you think they are. And it seems like it's happening more and more with the economy the way it is. It's like a job was supposed to be a stable source of income, but you can have a job one day and be in the unemployment line by tomorrow. I remember I was laid off about 2 years ago. Had a job by 9 a.m. By 9:35, we was locked out of the damn computer. But I'll tell you one thing, from my experience, being laid off isn't the end of the world. It's just the end of a chapter.
So I just got laid off from Amazon. I was one of the 14,000 people who got an email at like 4 a.m. saying that your role has been eliminated. So honestly, what am I feeling right now? I'm kind of numb. I'm kind of in shock of just how it was handled because I literally had no idea. Like literally imagine just waking up one day, it's a regular Tuesday, you check your phone, see what time it is, and you see you got an email that your role is being eliminated. Genuinely, when I saw that on my phone, I thought it was spam because I'm like, no way, like, what do you mean that it's an email? So I go on my work laptop, I find out I'm locked out of my laptop, and I check my email, I lost access to my laptop, I don't have badge access, I literally haven't heard anything from my manager, hear nothing from my coworkers, and it's just like you're just locked out. And it's so crazy because so I was there for only like a little over a year, but I have a coworker who was there, it was going to be his 13th anniversary being there for 13 years, and this is the way that we find out. And it's just kind of like you like, oh, like it's just so crazy to me because like you spend so much of your energy at your job, right? And for you to just find out in this way, it's like a very shitty feeling. I'm gonna be so honest. It's like, well, what was the point of me doing any of that? And like, as someone who has quote unquote done the right thing, like I'm a child of immigrants, so I had to, like, I chose the engineering route, but I studied engineering in college. I had 4 internships in undergrad. I 2 of them were in big tech. After graduating, I was at Microsoft, and now I'm at Amazon. And it's like, on top of that, never have gotten negative feedback for any of my performance reviews. And it's like, you can do everything right, but at the end of the day, your future is not in your hands when you work for someone. And it's like, it just blows my mind because I feel like as a society, we, especially like when you're come from like a family of immigrants, like, you know, work hard to get a really good job, work in corporate, don't do anything risky. And it's like you do that and you literally have no control if you get a bad manager. You have no control if what you're working on gets deprioritized, or, you know, the company decides to be more lean and make things less bureaucratic. Like, you have no control over that. And like, I feel like I just worked so hard to do the right things, and this was such a huge slap in the face of like, I always had an entrepreneurial spirit in me, and I've always wanted to do that, but like this experience, honestly,
is screaming to me that you will never feel.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the biggest stories shaking up the tech and corporate world. Amazon's latest wave of layoffs earlier this month that left about 14,000 jobs cut in the US, and the total reaching as high as 30,000. Now let's unpack what this means for workers, how the artificial intelligence is driving these changes, and why communities, especially Black professionals and Caribbean nationals like Jamaicans, should pay close attention to what's happening right now. In early November 2025, reports confirmed that Amazon let go of hundreds of corporate employees in New York City, and thousands more are expected to follow across the US. Now, these aren't warehouse layoffs. These are corporate and tech positions, marketing, human resources, data analysts, and even management. Amazon says it's restructuring to become more efficient and to focus investment on artificial intelligence and automation. This isn't just a business decision, but it's a cultural moment. It tells us something bigger about where the future of work is heading. Now, artificial intelligence is changing the world at a faster pace than most of us imagined. From ChatGPT to Amazon's own AI systems that handle logistics, data, and customer service, algorithms are now doing the kind of work that used to require hundreds or even thousands of human power. AI isn't evil, but it's a tool. But like any tool, it depends on who wields it and why. Companies are using it to cut costs, increase efficiency, and stay competitive. But the truth is, when AI takes over routine corporate work, it shifts the value of human labor. The question isn't just about whether AI will take your job or my job. It's about, will society create new opportunities for people as fast as technology replaces them? Job security in America is already fragile. Even people with degrees, good resumes, and years of experience are realizing that a steady paycheck isn't guaranteed anymore. The layoffs at Amazon, Google, Meta, and other tech giants show that even the most stable industries can shift overnight. For many Americans, this is more than a financial problem. It's an identity crisis. The American dream that has always been about upward mobility through hard work. But if AI and corporate restructuring keep eroding traditional jobs, then we'll have to redefine what that dream looks like in the 2030s. Now, about how these all changes impacts Black professionals. Black workers have historically faced barriers in tech, from underrepresentation in leadership to wage gaps and bias in hiring. When layoffs come, those who are already in vulnerable positions can be hit harder. There is also the risk of AI system replicating existing racial biases. If we're not careful, automation could quietly make inequality worse, not because of malice, but because of data. That's why it's crucial for Black professionals to get involved in AI as coders, data scientists, ethicists, and entrepreneurs. We need diversity, not just in who gets the job, but in who builds the future. And this story isn't just American. Across the Caribbean, including Jamaica, people are watching these shifts closely. Jamaicans have been part of the global labor force for decades, from call centers in Montego Bay to tech startups in Kingston. Many Jamaicans in the US and abroad send money back home that supports families and communities. When companies like Amazon restructure, it doesn't only affect the workers inside the office, it ripples across economies and borders. But here's the hopeful part. Jamaica's young generation is tech savvy, creating and ready to adapt. With the right training and support, Caribbean nations could position themselves as AI innovators, not just by standards. So what we should do next is we can't stop AI, but we can shape how it's used. Governments need to prioritize AI literacy, schools must teach digital and creative skills, and companies must be transparent about how automation affects workers. For individuals, the message is clear. Keep learning, whether it's coding, design, project management, or communication. Invest in the skills that machines can't easily replace. The story of Amazon layoffs isn't just about job losses. It's all about transformation, work identity, and opportunity. So, whether you're in the New York, Atlanta, Kingston, or wherever you are in the world, remember this, that technology can replace tasks, but not human creativity, community, and purpose. Now, thanks for watching, and kindly drop a comment below with your thoughts on how AI is changing your world and my world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more commentaries like this one. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.